STEMSEAS. Let's go ahead to outreach and early career initiatives. A lot of discussion within the council and within the committees, I think, has been how to reach, have more of an outreach on our part, within the council and that sort of thing. And it's reaching the younger folks. And so, and STEMSEAS does that in a great way, but we need to do more of it. But, thank you, Sharon, for all that you do as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having this space in the schedule for us to talk a little bit. And because we're talking about training the next generation, I'm going to turn over most of my talk to the next generation itself and let Jeremy represent the next generation. But I'm Sharon Cooper, and to make sure that everybody knows our acronym, STEMSEAS, Student Experiences Aboard Ships. For anybody who's not familiar with our program, we are leveraging transits of the U.S. academic fleet to put undergraduates on board, give them a chance to live and work at sea, and particularly with an emphasis on diversity. So I'll give you really, really super quick our updates for 2021 and 2022. We were paused during COVID altogether. We were able to run a successful transit on the Thompson in November 2021, so almost exactly a year ago. Because of the COVID rules in place at the time, we focused solely on local folks in the Seattle area. The ship was leaving out of Seattle. We worked with a couple of community colleges, and we sailed only community college students in the Seattle area. And it was a great experience for everybody, so much so that for our next round of our funding, we are gonna have an aspect dedicated solely to community college students and faculty. So a lot of thanks to University of Washington for working with alumni. It was great. In 2022, we were able to do a full schedule. It was great to get back out to sea. We got almost 60 students back out to sea between that 2021 and 2022. The schedule is there. The ones highlighted in red, those ships were new to the STEMSEAS program. So it was great that we were able to work with new ships and new operators. Atlantic Explorer was also a new one, did get canceled because of a combination of hurricane and COVID. But we still got students to Woods Hole, and they had a couple days in Woods Hole to learn about things there. So there was a little bit of a silver lining there. And so that was our schedule for 2022. We're very excited about that. Okay, next slide. And so what's next? I am working right now on identifying potential transits for 2023. So I'll be talking with some of you about those. We are writing a new proposal for the next 4 years of STEMSEAS, and some of our new aspects will be an alumni advisory council, because now we have an amazing group of alumni to pull from, and they have opinions, and it's great to give them a chance to share them with us. We are working with HBCUs. We're having a partnership expedition solely for HBCU faculty that we're doing in partnership with HUI coming up in January. This will be written into our new proposal as well. And then again, as I mentioned, community college faculty training opportunities to then be confident to lead expeditions in the future and bring along their students. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for having both me and Sharon and to be able to speak with you today. Thank you. I'm a little taller than Sharon. Well, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about me. Ever since I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a meteorologist. And I guess you could say my head has always been in the clouds. But I would make my parents wait outside in the rain for hours as I stood wide-eyed, fascinated by a storm. Wearing miniature galoshes and gripping a small umbrella, I loved experiencing wind gusts and pelting rain. And for my 6th birthday, my mom bought me a children's weather station. And that same year, my kindergarten teacher allowed me to present daily weather reports in front of the class. As I ascended through the grades in my hometown, Woodrow Wilson Elementary School in New Jersey, I became something of a weather phenomenon and acquired a reputation as a school weatherman. Principal Costello would often ask me to announce forecasts over the loudspeaker after the national anthem if a large storm was approaching. And students would stop me in the halls to even ask me if there were a probability of a snow day being declared. And after a year of secret planning, my mom was able to arrange for me to meet my favorite meteorologist, Lonnie Quinn, at CBS 2 Studios in New York City, where he gave me a personalized tutorial in front of the green screen. In 2016, I attended Advanced Weather Camp at Penn State University on a $1,000 grant from my high school, and there I learned with my fellow campers to receive hands-on training in meteorology, including creating a television forecast. So with that history, it's not surprising that I chose to major in meteorology at Rutgers University with the goal of becoming a broadcast meteorologist. I found a home in the Rutgers Weather Watcher studio, and right from the day I stepped foot on campus, I had the opportunity to forecast on air with state-of-the-art equipment and software, offering me an irresistibly delectable taste of my future. By the time I was a senior, I landed a position as NBC News climate intern in New York, and I prepared and produced weather content for the Today Show with Al Roker, NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, MSNBC, and more. So what came next for me? Well, right after graduation, I went on a ship expedition from Seattle to San Diego with a handful of students from across the United States where we collected plankton and sampled seawater. Now that may come as a surprise to all of you. I just outlined my entire childhood and how I've been working my entire life to achieve my dream of becoming a broadcast meteorologist. But I only focused on one of my passions, meteorology. And I neglected to tell you that I've also had an immense love for the ocean ever since I was little. I've been fascinated by life at sea. All too often, people are dismissed as being one-dimensional and only capable of pursuing one passion or life goal at a time. I actually wanted to study marine science in conjunction with meteorology in college, but with the additional required courses and projects I had to complete to graduate with the Honors College at Rutgers, there was no time in my schedule to pursue even a minor in marine science unless I wanted to stay an extra semester. In order to fill the void, I tried to fulfill my Honors College requirements by taking courses tangential to marine science. I took courses that focused on the Tulane River, vital ecosystem to central New Jersey, and we were allowed to conduct our own research and took short day boat trips out on the Raritan to take water samples. And I was hooked, so to speak, and knew from that very moment that I wanted more experiences like this. And as I learned more and more about meteorology, I realized the study of oceans has special significance to me as a future meteorologist. As a matter of fact, as many of you know, the world's weather and climate and the world's oceans are intimately intertwined, and meteorology can't be understood without a well-studied education of oceanography. For example, evaporation from the ocean surface, especially in tropical regions, contributes directly to the development of clouds and rainfall. The well-known El Nino effect occurs as a result of air-ocean interactions. And of course, the progression of climate change cannot be adequately predicted without taking into account the role oceans play in the absorption of heat and carbon dioxide. So I stumbled upon STEMSEAS and applied, hoping to be granted the opportunity to be acquainted with the marine science in a way I was never truly allowed to. And not only did I receive way more from this program than I had ever imagined, but I also had an experience that I could have only dreamed of. Being on board the Sally Vibe was absolutely incredible, to say the least. We saw countless whales up and down the Pacific coast, spraying their tall clouds of mist on the horizon. Dolphins frequently jumped playfully right along the side of the boat, and they even swam at the bow in bioluminescence one night, under the Milky Way and the most stars I had ever seen in my life. It was just a truly, truly amazing, breathtaking sight. We were able to conduct some research with fascinating science while on board too. And we constructed this piece of equipment, as many of you know, called the CTD, with our own hands by affixing bottles to a metal exoskeleton. And these bottles were closed remotely as the CTD was lowered into the ocean to collect water samples from different depths. And we were given that liberty to decide which depths to choose, and then we're allowed to perform various chemical tests like pH, salinity, and dissolved oxygen, to name a few, in the ship's lab. We collected plankton and other marine organisms with a fine net for observation and sampling at many different times of day. And one of our favorite discoveries was this baby giant Pacific octopus, as can be seen in relationship to a spoon. And for reference, an adult giant Pacific octopus can often weigh over 100 pounds and can have a radial span of over 20 feet. So needless to say, this little guy was a source of enormous excitement for all of us. And the ship crew was very kind and very generous with their time, and even volunteered to offer us tours of various parts of the vessel, like the engine room, the science hold, and the bridge. And I even got to drive the Sally Ride, as seen in the middle photo there. The crew taught us how to tie knots that are frequently used in nautical settings, and also helped us to release 2 Argo floats. While on board, I didn't expect to gain any skills to becoming a better broadcast meteorologist, but I did, and possibly the most impactful part of the ship expedition was the science communication focus of the program. Dr. Sarah L. Sheffy, seen here on the left, was fantastic and imparted critical techniques in her workshops on how to weave science communication with storytelling to enhance our skills as effective science communicators. And this is a skill I will definitely be using on air. She is also a proud, multifaceted individual with interests in marine science, paleontology, and herpetology. And she made me feel validated in my own dual interest of both meteorology and marine science. I earned my sea legs and didn't even get sick, which I was really, really worried about. And instead I gained about 15 pounds from eating all the delicious food on board, and that's serious, I did. I did not expect to come back that heavy. But it was a lovely group of individuals that I was able to sail with, diverse budding scientists from across the United States, many of whom I plan on having long-lasting friendships with. And as a champion of diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially in the geosciences, as many of you know, a realm which is notoriously known for being majority white, this program is truly special because it specifically aims to provide opportunities to underrepresented minorities in the geosciences. And you can see how diverse a group was selected for this expedition. It was actually the first time I ever felt represented in my own field. In fact, in broadcast meteorology specifically, a staggering 92% of chief meteorologists are white. In my graduation speech from the Honors College earlier this year, I announced that it would be a mission of mine to champion diversity, equity, and inclusion in the geosciences. And I'm so honored to not only have taken part in STEMSEAS, but also now serve as an ambassador for STEMSEAS as it aligns with my mission. I'm truly grateful to have had such an amazing, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I will never forget it for as long as I live. Each and every one of these smiling faces up there has a story like mine. We all share a common love for the ocean, but only some of us had the opportunity to study it in college, and far fewer ever had the opportunity to be on a ship. The girl to the left of me, Keisha, she actually discovered her dream job thanks to STEMSEAS. As a computer science major, she never knew how prevalent and critical technology is to a research vessel, and now she plans to pursue a career in being a shipboard technician. And STEMSEAS, of course, doesn't just wash away after we disembark from the ship. We were all responsible for creating outreach projects and presenting them to elementary schools, to high schools, and at conferences to raise awareness for the program, awareness for increasing diversity in the geosciences, and awareness for the many career possibilities available in the marine sciences. Now, STEMSEAS is a tight-knit community, a professional network, and an enormous support system aimed to empower minorities. I recently returned from the National Diversity in STEM Conference, where I represented STEMSEAS to a wide range of diverse students from across the country and even from around the world. To promote a program with a mission to increase diversity in the geosciences to the very students who often don't have the opportunity to explore the geosciences was an extremely impactful moment for me. So thank you all, especially the National Science Foundation, for allowing me the opportunity to have this experience to be a part of STEMSEAS, the only program of its kind. STEMSEAS was life-changing for me. It reassured me that people can embrace their multifacetedness, and I received an unparalleled science communication education, and I was even able to explore the ocean without having the opportunity to minor in it in college. It is my hope that this program can endure for as long as possible, imparting the incredible experience of a STEMSEAS transit on board a ship to as many underrepresented students like me, and that true diversity in the geosciences can be achieved one student at a time. Thank you.
Yeah, Sharon and Jeremy can take questions now. Jeremy. He's still learning to be an ambassador.
Sorry about that.
If there's any questions, we're happy to take them.
Well, we just heard Jeremy's story about his outcome after being involved in STEMSEAS. Have you tracked any of the other graduates, if you will?
Yeah, yes. I mean, we have an external evaluator on the project, and we do pre and post surveys for every expedition. And so we have both numerical data and anecdotal, data on all the students that have sailed on STEMSEAS since 2016. So there's some really great stories, and I'm happy. Yeah, we can maybe we could go on for hours.
Hi there. What's the long-term plan for STEMSEAS? The stories and information you've given us are just so overwhelmingly positive. My hope is that it will go on for the foreseeable future. But are there concrete plans for the long-term future?
Well, we're putting in a new proposal now-ish in the next couple of months for the next 4 years. And so at least for the next 4 years, we're hoping that, we'll continue more or less with the same model that we're using now with some of these additions that I mentioned and variations. And then we'll think about beyond that.
Thank you.
Hi Jeremy, good to see you again. Some comments. I was on this cruise with Jeremy, and I think the thing I want to emphasize that he did not to the group are the activities related to STEMSEAS that happen at the point of embarkation. UCSD did a wonderful job even after the ship had ended with some of the outreach both at the university facilities and the Birch Aquarium. And so those experiences from the transition, your universities still have a valuable role in how the STEMSEAS outcomes come. So I would implore you to not just think about from brow to brow, but the things that happen from the airport through your university's institutions all the way to the brow, that part of the experience is equally fulfilling. And if anyone here wants to be a mentor or do anything in STEMSEAS, I would encourage you to take those opportunities. They are as equally fulfilling as Jeremy described. Thanks.
Yeah, we do have a portal on our website. We have a link for anybody who wants to apply to be a mentor, and that's always open. So.
Debbie?
Wow, that was a great presentation. And so this young man's setup is camera. Have you been doing that? Do you take yourself giving talks? Is that why you're so good at it? Because I was very impressed. Are you growing the program when you put this proposal in? Are you going to be is it growing?
Yes. I've expanded it quite a bit in the proposal. So there'll be a negotiation between us and NSF how much we can grow it. So, yeah.
Stare at the NSF.
I want to hire. I think I probably speak for a number of people either in here or associated with this group that we are desperate to hire motivated individuals, grow our own community. If we have, how do we reach out to the STEMSEAS alums to find out if they're interested in a particular job?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. So we do have a STEMSEAS alumni Facebook page where we invite all of our alumni to be a part of that. So all the 160 students, so I can't say that every single one of them has joined it, but a lot of them have joined it. And so anytime I see opportunities, I post them on there. If you have an opportunity, send it to me, I'll post it on there. And we have several success stories of people who have gotten hired through postings that have come through there.
Okay, so I don't do Facebook.
You don't have to, just send it to me.
Okay, that's great.
And I'll post it, yeah, that's fine.
Thanks.
It's fine. In fact, I know, it seems like Facebook now is trending slightly older and younger people are on different things, right? So that's why this alumni council that we're building into our next proposal, I think that'll be great because Jeremy and his colleagues will tell me like, where should we post this stuff? It's not on Facebook. What, Snapchat?
TikTok and Instagram, yes.
Yeah, okay, so we'll do that too.
What is the best way to direct students to get into this program and find the requirements? Because I do know some kids are
I do. We have several flyers that indicate all of the details of the program and the link that you can apply at as well.
Yeah, it's on our website.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Amazing presentation.
All the information's there, yeah.
Yeah, and Julie, this is Sean Higgins online. There's one of the members that, in fact, all the members that sailed on Lakeside, they were actually former either assistants or participants that led the mentor group. on that particular project. And one of those actually works for Suzanne Carbot and everything in the database group after his experience sailing. So I think it was, from what Sharon had told me, it was the first time that everybody that has served as a mentor was actually either a former participant or, on STEMSEAS. So it's definitely coming back around, the people that are participating are staying involved. So, it's exciting to see that.
Yeah, that was very dear to my heart, yeah, because during that cruise, we had 3 mentors and they all had been STEMSEAS participants before, so that was really great.
Jeremy Scripps has an open position for a research technician at this time. And I have an inside track with the hiring manager. So I'd love to meet you for some coffee.
Thank you very much.
It's old to beat me to the punchline. So I would love for you to give this presentation to Geo, especially to Brandon Jones, who is the program manager. Brandon has been able to keep it going. I think that if you're looking at, I know, don't roll your eyes at me, but branding. Because this is how we're going to grow the program. Everyone's going to see how great it is, but they need to attach it to the funding agency. And so when you're out there, Jeremy, on TV, just drop the NSF name and that would be great.
You got it, as long as it doesn't conflict with my contract.
Yeah.
I will be a huge advocate.
Hey, sir, anyone else? Thank you so much. That was really a pleasure and a joy.